The Nerdgasm Talk podcast is brought to you by Spaces Philly. If you love podcasts, go to spacesphilly.com where you can check out Lulu and Pop, Both Sides, Turntables, Jump Thought Super Tongue, and the Nerd Coalition's very own No Gimmicks Needed. Visit spacesphilly.com today. And now, feel the Nerdgasm.
Hashtag Ayer Cut and WB versus its directors. There's been a lot of flack that WB has been catching after the Snyder Cut's release, which I believe is well deserved because they didn't let the director do what his vision was. Instead, they were trying to play catch up and fix the mistakes that they made in the past. Of course, after the Snyder Cut release, it got the great amount of praise. People were campaigning for the Ayer Cut. And they want the version that David Ayer directed of the Suicide Squad, which apparently was a lot has changed in that movie, where Joker was supposed to be the main villain. Joker had a lot more screen time. I know Jared Leto was upset that he didn't get that, and David Ayer went on the Twitter rampage. I can't find the tweet, but I know, in my memory, he said, "They messed up my script. On God, this movie wasn't that bad." I lied to you not. He said on God, and I was like, okay, this is probably the best thing ever. I should have screenshot it. But yeah, Suicide was reworked after Batman v Superman, after receiving the bad reviews of BVS. And executives wanted a lighter tone, and result the film made money was thoroughly incoherent and garnered even the worst reviews than Batman v Superman, which is very sad. Now, I enjoyed Suicide Squad then. The movie did not age well. Miss A&E, I feel like you feel the same on this.
I do.
I don't know if Q watched it. If you didn't, don't bother. It's no point.
Watch what?
Suicide Squad.
He seen it with us.
I saw it with y'all.
He did? Oh my God.
Yes.
Dang.
He's on the review.
Did you not hear me mention Urban Youth Killer Croc? I saw the film with y'all.
Oh yeah. Okay. I forgot that I said Will Smith. Killer Croc was more Will Smith than Will Smith.
It's gonna be. It feels kind of lonely in Q Flow back pocket because somebody just got kicked out.
I'm on the leash now.
Yeah.
But
hey, bro.
It's been so long. I've seen the movie twice. But
the pandemic is ruining this friendship. No, I'm joking.
Whoa! This was before the pandemic. Don't take it out on me. The movie was just bad. Let's blame the movie, okay? Direct all your anger towards the movie. But
yeah, right.
Yes, a lot of people are campaigning the Ayer Cut. Now, how would we feel if an Ayer Cut did come out? I'll start with Mr. A&E on this.
How would I feel?
Yes.
I feel two ways. I feel one, that it'll be cool to see the director's vision, and I respect that. The directors have a certain vision, but it's a waste of money because people have to realize they spent over $70 million to put that Snyder Cut together. Okay, they already got to do Suicide Squad. That was the purpose of the trailer I was talking about. Warner Bros. Showed you that this is the Suicide Squad. This is the direction they're going with, because all that Ayer Cut is going to do is you know what? It's probably, if Joker was the main villain or Jared Leto did good, it's going to cause more demand. And then when it causes more demand, it causes more split. When it causes more split, then you have a more crisis on your heads because they know they messed up. Warner Brothers fuck the DCU or the DCE, whatever you want to call it. If they show that version of it, because Batman is in that version, maybe the Joker's a better Joker. Because now in the future, when they see, the James Gunn Suicide Squad, it's going to turn heads because it's like, now do you want? Because people are going to want Will Smith back, and he's not easy to get back. Then you're going to want these other characters back that was in the Ayer Cut of the Suicide Squad. They know it's not going to be a one and done thing. And honestly, they probably thought the Snyder Cut would probably be a one and done thing. But honestly, I think the Snyder Cut also kind of happened because, one, they ain't got no DC properties coming out until Suicide Squad.
Right.
And you got to compete with Marvel somehow. But when it comes to the air cut, me personally, I would love to see David Ayer's cut of Suicide Squad. I would love to see what he did. But once again, they have to put in money for that. And once again, they may have to put even a little bit more money because one, the demand is only high because of the Snyder Cut. And Warner Bros. Is like, do we really want to waste anywhere between another $70 million to $100 million to put out this movie if that's the direction we want to go in? And that's the unfortunate truth about it. And then once again, you are taking a gamble because it's like if you do the air cut of Suicide Squad, one, you open a lot of other doors for a lot of other things. And you may have saying Josh Whedon may say, well, you know what? I want that Whedon cut of Age of Ultron.
Right.
Or I want this kind of cut. And say if the air cut's like, hey, well, this one's 3.5 hours. I'm like, damn, do I want to see a 3.5 hour Suicide Squad movie, to be honest with you?
Right.
I mean, I don't know. It may be good, but that movie is more on a gamble. I would love to see it. Well, I think we will ever see it. Once I said no for Snyder Cut, but you never know. You like I said, you never truly know until after this Suicide Squad, this Black Adam movie come out. Because me personally, when it comes to Suicide Squad, if this movie hits in August 6th and this Suicide Squad movie is great, you can forget David Ayer's that one's buried in the ground. It will never see the light of day.
Oh yeah.
If Suicide Squad bombs and it does not do good, it does not have a good audience rating or good Rotten Tomato score, they will put in consideration of bringing his universe back. Or at least bringing his movie back, and then there will be some strong consideration on where does this universe go.
Right. Now I know David Ayer himself, he said that the movie won't take long to edit and get together. The main thing they messed up in the beginning, like the first 40 minutes apparently of the movie, was completely ripped to shreds. So said he is determined to make it. He just needs that one call, which I agree. I don't think WB is going to do that with the new one coming out.
I mean, if he wants to get people to back him, like some friends in Hollywood to help him pay for it, sure, why not? But
would that be a legal thing since WB owns it and he technically gets sued for that?
I mean, it probably can. Like I said, I don't know all the.
It starts more trouble.
Logistics.
Than, it's a lot. It's yeah.
Walter Hamada does not see this. They don't see this universe anymore, and unfortunately, we are part of that problem. And when I say we are part of that problem, which a lot of people are not going to like, is that people don't realize what they do when they do it. And when they got the praise for Aquaman, when they got the praise for Shazam. When they got the early praise for Birds of Prey before the movie even came out, that's what they were looking for. They want the truth is Warner Bros. Wants the Marvel audience. They don't want their own audience. They care more about the people who hated BVS opposed to the people that loved it. That's who they cater to, and don't get me wrong. That's unfortunate. That's not who you should cater to, because the way when it comes to casual fans, they will always never drive in a straight line. The loyal fans will always get you to your destination. I strongly believe that, because casual fans are followers. They will always follow what the loyals are doing. The loyals will never follow anybody. And that's to me, they're going after the wrong crowd. I'm not saying DC needs to be dark. I'm not saying DC needs to be more violent, but I am saying DC needs to be different. They never gave it a chance because they panicked. Everybody wants to say it started with Batman v Superman. I said no, it started with Superman snapping Zod's neck. That's when it started. That's when this whole thing started. But here's the thing. what bothers me the most, and I'm sorry if I'm taking up time on the mic, but what bothers me the most is that this is the direction that they wanted, because you know whose fault this truly is. I'm asking the question.
I thought that was a rhetorical question. No.
Okay, well, it's Christopher Nolan's fault. He did a real life version of what Batman would be like in a more realistic setting. And ever since The Dark Knight came out, it saw the success it did. Everybody was going down DC heroes that they wanted to see more realistic. And they were saying, can Christopher Nolan do Superman again? Because the Brandon Routh and the Bryan Singer Superman that sucked. There's only one person I know that likes that movie. And he is a Superman fanboy.
Is it Randy? Yeah,
I didn't want to say his name. But yeah.
Because I was thinking of two people. I was like Medina.
He explained to me. I'm like, for somebody who's a Superman fanboy, I get it. But once again,
he was going to say Quattro.
No, he probably.
You know what? He would just like that movie because everyone hates it.
Because he's a contrarian.
That's exactly what it is. I'm saying, love the guy, but that at times I'm like, well, you can't argue your point, because I hear people like, I just liked it. My opinion. Oh God, I can't debate worth a shit. But anyway, they said there was a quote in the article that said, "We want our Superman movie to punch somebody." Well, guess what? They gave it to you.
He punched.
They gave you a more realistic, darker Superman that makes mistakes. And then all of a sudden, people was like, oh, well, I don't know if I want that. And I'm like, all right. And then what about Warner Bros? All they did was see that. And then from then on, they panicked. They cut up BVS. They cut it up. And I'm like, and you don't notice how much they cut it up until you see the Ultimate Edition. I'm like, why touch it? Mm-hmm. And then when that happened, and they was like, oh my God, people hated BVS. We got to fix Suicide Squad. How is this your answer to fix it? But then once again, people would have said, like they said, look, if the Snyder Cut came out instead of the Whedon cut, it would have been bad. Like, no, it wouldn't, because you would have hated it then. You were already trained to hate DC. Mm. You were already trained to hate DC, and people don't realize that it's a conscious thing. If I don't like something all the way through, and then let's go with a series here, and say if it's okay, the God, this whole monster of Godzilla and King Kong, I didn't like the first Godzilla movie.
Mm-hmm. Neither did I.
I like the King Kong. I like Kong Skull Island.
Right.
So, but naturally, when I went into Godzilla King of the Monsters, I'll be honest with you, I did not go in there hopeful. I went there like, all right, the trailer was cool. Let's see what it do. And I came out like, I didn't like it. But Q-Flow liked it. And the way he explained to me, I'm like, you know what? If I was a Godzilla fan, I could probably see it his way. But I'm not.
I was extremely hopeful going into that. That's my mistake.
But then Godzilla versus Kong, I'm like, okay, I want to see a matchup, so it's kind of different. If I go to Transformers, after the first one, I didn't like the second one. I definitely didn't like the third one. And I said it back.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
I definitely like the second one. The third,
boy. Lonely Island over here, huh?
You like the second?
Really?
I like the second one, man.
No, you're just being Quattro right now.
I'm not. I like the second one. You know what it is? Because I'm such a Power Rangers fanboy. When Optimus Prime and Jetfire fused together, I'm like, oh, this is dope.
Yeah, no,
sorry,
that made the movie.
I'm sorry. It did, man. I'm sorry, man. I like when robots combine together. Sue me, like. Don't
worry, we will. But take all your rap money.
But then he didn't like the Samoan Megazord.
It
wasn't a Megazord. It was a train. They made a train.
So it's like. Great example. Remember when we all went to go see Power Rangers, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Chubbs came out and said that movie was terrible, right?
Mm-hmm.
But everybody was just like, I liked the movie.
You know what?
I like the movie,
I give
and
you
everybody said they liked the movie to the point where he was just like, then he started agreeing with everybody because nobody, just from the human DNA in you, wants to be the minority.
You know, I give
Nobody
that
wants
because
to be the minority.
I was shitting on that movie from day one, and I was like, no, this ain't going to be good. Then I saw the movie, I was like, all right, this was actually.
I did
good.
too. I was killing the trailer. I was killing all the screenshots that was coming out. I went to that movie with the lowest of hope.
And then we got out. We was like, you know what? This actually did something better than we expected.
I'm saying, you see how easy it is to change the perspective of somebody who doesn't want to be the. It was the same thing with the Killing Joke, right? When we all went to go see the Killing Joke, and then I forgot what it was. It was like because we were still out there, had a whole debate, and everybody came at me because I was having a debate with everybody, and I was just like, y'all got what y'all asked for, y'all still ain't happy. Because I forgot what I think it was.
It was Batman killing the Joker. You said we were all hypocrites because Batman was killing the BVS and we didn't like it. The only reason why I would say we were suspecting it because this was a storyline where Batman actually did it versus him going willy nilly about it.
But at the same time, though, I remember that debate. You were shooting strays at everybody because it was. For one,
he lined us up and he was like, you a hypocrite. I was like,
I'm like, whoa, I like I didn't complain about Batman killing the BVS. Like, what?
You know what? No, because once again, I can admit it wasn't fun being a minority because at that time, I was the minority because me and Swag were the only one, but this is before I, heard your opinion. Me and Swag was the only people that like BVS. This is before the edition, the Ultimate Edition came out.
And Randy.
We were the only people, and everywhere you talk about shooting strays, bro. I came home with like 19 bullets in my ass daily because I worked in the mall, and everybody got on me hard. So when Killer Joke came out, all I kept hearing was the same bullshit over and over again about Batman killing. Then when Killing Joke come out, and then I get all this praise about Joker, Batman stabbing his neck, I'm like, hold the hell, y'all have grinded my ass up about BVS and Batman killing, and this is okay with y'all? It's a hypocrite.
It's because that storyline specifically shows Batman snapping, whereas he was just like, this was free smoke for everybody.
He snapped in BVS. They addressed that. And that's what I'm saying. At that time, like I said, before the Ultimate Edition came out, I'm just like, guys, all the shit Batman do, he's not allowed to have a bad day. There are stories, because everybody's like, Batman doesn't kill. I'm like, have y'all not seen the many stories out there about Batman? First of all, it's a fake character, okay? But neither here or there. I'm just saying that's where, being a minority was, and I can admit that. Mm-hmm. I have no problem admitting that that's what it was, and it was all about being defensive. Because I was like, why did I get all this heat? You know what I'm saying? Because one thing I just don't like, I just don't like hypocritical thinking. Let's just put it that way. So if they come out with the air cut, I mean, people are going to praise it now because they're on the high of the Snyder cut. Mm-hmm. That's the way it is. And me personally, like, I would love to see it, but it's not going to help anything, especially with this new Suicide Squad coming out now. And if they greenlight it, right? Say if next week Warner Bros. Says we're going to greenlight the air cut, it's going to make the James Gunn Suicide Squad lose money. Mm-hmm. Because everybody is going to put their energy in waiting for the air cut, and instead of focusing on this new Suicide Squad. And that's the unfortunate thing about it. So right now, that's the direction they want to go in. It's if the movie's good, it's not going to see the light of day.
Right. Now, this also brought light because of the whole situation with Zack Snyder and WB, which there's a huge problem with WB and their directors, the communication there. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one here that says I'd rather have the Snyderverse than what's going on with DC now. Well, I'm not sure how y'all feel. I feel like it's safe to say that, but if y'all want to chip in.
I talk a lot. I'm gonna let Kifo go first.
I mean, I just feel like I'm trying to think of the words. I don't I'm not sure, like, because I feel like they're going to have to like restart production or whatever. Now that this Snyder Cut found the success that it has, and I don't know, man. Like we restarting the Snyderverse. How's that going to affect Shazam? How's that going to affect, the Wonder Woman films and Aquaman and Black Adam? Like, this is bigger than just one film that you guys are asking for. You asking for a whole company reboot, right. Almost. You know, and that takes time and that takes money that they're not really getting a lot of because of the pandemic. If we were back in theaters where the real bread come from, I'd probably be singing a different tune. But the fact of the matter is, we don't have that type of, we not in, like, the way the world is right now. We can't just be rebooting universes. I'm sorry, it is what it is. I mean, they got app money, but app money ain't. I don't think that's not theater money, man.
No, yeah,
app money is not theater money. Like, unless y'all plan on renting out the theater every time y'all going, like how we did with the Marvel films or whatever, when we seen movies more in theaters more than once. Unless y'all ready to pay that $100 more than once, y'all got to take this one on the chin and let this win be a win. Celebrate it as the win that it is. But I don't think we getting any more of this Snyderverse stuff for, maybe down the road when the world open back up and theaters is open, we can pack out the seats and all that. But until then, y'all just gonna have to chill out and we got what we got. Take that dub on the chin and walk away.
Right. Now, I know Zack Snyder said he is confident in the quote-unquote hashtag reboot Snyderverse, but I honestly doubt it's going to happen at this point. I feel like Snyder, they just like, get this over with so we could go. So they could just stop talking. It's like giving kid the candy. Like, we need him. Just shut him up.
Yeah.
I will say it like this. Do I need a reboot of the Zack Snyder universe? Yes and no. But then also, I don't mind if he's just our Justice League director.
I agree.
See, I don't mind if he just tells Justice League stories. Mm-hmm. I think that Justice League was a great cap off to what I would call DC's Phase 1. I think that sealed the deal for a great Phase 1, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Because with that set of movies, Man of Steel, BVS, and Wonder Woman is really the only ones you gotta watch to go on Justice League. But then it's like you can throw Suicide Squad in there, but this to me was the great cap. This is their Phase 1. This was their Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Captain America, Avengers thing. This is what their Phase 1 was. My issue is he had great storyboards with it. Mm-hmm. And it is unfortunate that we are not going to be able to see that layout of what they have planned, but does not mean that he can't tweak the story.
Right.
Because me personally, I was like, because even if they want to say, okay, because the DCEU is not dead. People got to understand it's not dead. They still have a universe. They're just going in a different direction, which in that different direction, the Whedon version is canon. I don't like that. Because they feel as though you still haven't seen Darkseid, blah, blah, blah. And once again, I'm just like, okay, that's fine. The Justice League movie we got, I agree with Q-Flow. A win is a win. You take the win with it. However, I do believe that it's like, okay, we can go back to the controller room and we can try to tweak the story a little bit. But then, once again, this is me personally. I just don't like how they want to go down the Marvel way. They're going early Marvel. If you watch the Marvel stuff now, when it comes to Falcon Winter Soldier, WandaVision, and the recent movies that Marvel has put out, they're going the DC route. They're going the DC route. They're going more darker. They're even saying more curse words. They're having more issues and social issues. This is what DC was doing first. And now Marvel is taking the people. You actually see people dying in Marvel films now. Mm-hmm. Did you guys see the pilot get shot in Falcon Winter Soldier, the first episode?
Yep.
I'm like, they didn't used to show that in Marvel films. And it looks like Walter Hamada, when it comes to Warner Bros., wants to go and like that early success that Marvel brought of, being funny and comical and colorful. It's like, yeah, but you're trying to follow a formula that's dated. They could have been the kings of this castle by doing, and why can't we be a fan of both? They would have been the kings of this castle if they had just left it alone. You gotta let things build. You gotta let. It was a rush to get out Justice League. It was a rush to get out. They tried to get a whole phase 1 in 3 years, where it took Marvel. I mean, honestly, to be honest with you, it took Marvel about 4 years to do it. But at that time, Marvel was releasing a movie a year.
Right.
Y'all, they started trying to do a whole universe, a whole phase in about 3 years, where you skip 2 years, and you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? All the time, you gotta let things breathe. You gotta let people wanting back more. It's unfortunate. I don't think Warner Bros. Is going to go that direction. But once again, they are a reactionary company. If these new DC movies don't do good, if Black Adam don't do good, if Suicide Squad don't do good, then it'll be like, well, we got to go call Zack Snyder again, and we got to see if he wants to go back and do it. But once again, it ain't just about the Justice League movie. The whole universe that was planned out, it's almost impossible to do. Because after that movie, you set up everybody's movie. You set up a new Wonder Woman. You set up a new Superman. You set up a new Batman. We already got the Aquaman movie. And you set up Flash and Cyborg. The only movie that right now we got is Aquaman, and we're about to get Flash. We got a Wonder Woman that went backwards. That went backwards to the point where now it damn sure don't even make no sense of what's going on. So it's frustrating.
Do you
huh?
potentially feel Flash can quote unquote fix this?
Flash could fix it, but
Because
Warner Bros.
This would be the only Flash. Like, doing a Flashpoint movie is the only way where they could really see, like, okay, we need to get this back.
You know what's crazy? I ain't even think about a Flashpoint movie. Now they go to Crutch.
That's really that's really their get out of jail free card.
Have Flash F up the timeline or restore, quote unquote, restore the timeline, whatever. Have Flash. I'll take my whole spiel that I just gave. I'll take it all back if they somehow manage to get Flash to bring us back to the Snyderverse.
Because that's the only way I can see WB trying to bring back this quote unquote whole fan base.
That's if WB don't get involved, because WB in an article they don't like the time travel.
Right.
They found the time travel to be juvenile and stupid. I was like, that's the Flash. Mm-hmm. That's why I was wanting the suits get involved, because all the suits is doing is looking at what Marvel's doing. They say, well, they ain't time travel. I'm like, well, yeah, they did in Endgame, right, but they had to get there first. And then they got to the time travel because they had Hank Pym. I mean, you could do that with the Atom, but we ain't get there yet. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't want to introduce Jon Stewart's Green Lantern, and I'm just like, why not? Those kind of things bother me, and those kind of things is like, this is probably why this Flash movie is taking so long to get made, because I don't think Warner Bros. is like Jerry Jones with the Dallas Cowboys. He can't keep his nose out of business.
Now
he can't. I
was gonna say, I didn't see the article about WB and time travel at all. I didn't even know that. I was just reading something else while I was looking it up, and they were not a fan of the whole Flash time travel thing Zack Snyder said in his movie. On Screen Rant, Zack Snyder reveals WB never liked Flash's Justice League time travel. And once again, huh? Oh no, I was going to say I usually don't go by Screen Rant.
I understand.
That website's weird with sources. Like, I'm trying to find the actual source of where they got that from, and it's just like a slideshow. But
Yeah,
but I know
but then
I could understand. I could totally understand like that. Like the whole movie was effed up. The whole Justice League movie was effed up.
And then when you see how much it was effed up, I'm like, my God, y'all just. And I have watched Justice League 4 times now.
Okay, how do you have that many hours in life?
I don't. I don't. I put it on. I watch about a good hour and 2 hours. My son wanted to watch it. Then I watch it with him, and then I go back and finish watching that. I can't watch it 4 hours straight. Mm-hmm. I don't have the time to watch it 4 hours straight. But I do go back and look at little details stuff that I missed because I felt as though it was a good movie. It caps off a good phase 1. If the Flash can restore the Snyderverse, it'll be cool. But then once again, where do I have? I'm just like with Q4, where all these movies land. All I know is this: if y'all can do all the Aquamans, Black Adams, Suicide Squads, the Batman, whatever we can do, all the movies. It to me, it has to lead to one thing, and the payoff is Justice League. But once again, fans don't have time to reboot another. Nobody wants to sit through and wait for another whole universe to be played out over a course of 5 to 10 years. Bro, we ain't got that kind of time on this earth. We don't. And that's the harsh reality. People, and it's like, bro, we got something good here. They really need to find a way to see if they can, keep the momentum going. Or once again, it could be a secret. They could probably tell everybody they don't want to do it, and they could probably be like, look, we can't ignore this money.
Right.
And once again, I agree with Q-Flow that ad money ain't theater money, but these theaters haven't opened it back up. And come to summertime, like I said, if people are vaccinated, and let's just say, hey, we're going to release a Snyder Cut with an intermission in IMAX. You ain't going to go see that? Mm-hmm. I know I would.
Oh, no, I'm going to go see it.
Especially in IMAX the way it was supposed to be.
Whoa, wait. Pause. You said the Snyder Cut?
Yeah, the 4 hours in IMAX. It's just that long. Know. It's like I watch half. I watch the second half.
I mean, it's like I watch it. First of all, I sat through 3.5 hours of Endgame. I sat through 3.5 hours of Endgame without an intermission. If I can get an intermission, in the Snyder Cut, fine. Or it can be like, we'll just play the Snyder Cut and no epilogue. That's 3.5 hours. You did the same thing.
If we were like at like King of Prussia and saw it there with that intermission, cool, I'll go grab me a Cinnabon or something. But like if I'm somewhere where I can't go grab no food court food, I don't know, man.
I mean, it ain't gonna be putting me in because there's no IMAX theater there.
Yeah.
It will be what the IMAX theater will be.
Shamity or King
of Prussia.
Yeah.
Or Franklin Institute.
Yeah, Franklin Institute.
Yeah.
Their IMAX is dope though.
But yeah, no, I agree with that. Now, I know there was also a lot of I'll jump on this real quick. I don't want to spend too much time on it. But there was a lot of past controversy on Joss Whedon and on it and how many cuts he take out. Not only that, but taking cuts out on certain actors. A lot of people are saying more like the more diverse cast of this movie, the more diverse characters of these movies have been cut out of Joss Whedon's cut. In fact, the one of the actors tweeted out, "Can anyone let me know if I'm in this version? I wasn't in the Whedon version. I'm trying to figure out if I made this cut. Let me know. I'm the single mom waitress in Cyborg's backstory." So you got an actor that didn't even know she wasn't even a part of a movie.
Yeah, that was a Hispanic lady, right?
Right.
I thought it was the black mom who had the 100,000 in her bank account when Cyborg hacked the bank.
She wasn't black.
Yeah,
she was
Wasn't
Hispanic.
black, yeah.
She was Hispanic. Oh, I thought she was black. Well, my bad, Queen. My bad.
He was like, it ain't white.
Come on.
Recute a revolutionary over here. But yeah, like it's a whole lot of reasons. Now I know you're a big what's her name? YouTube movie math lady.
Oh, Grace Randolph.
Right. Now I know she had a video talking about just like the whole diversity switching up in this movie. She said in one of her videos, just quoting part of it, much more diverse.
I actually sent it to you.
Yeah, I know. I watched a little bit of it. I didn't watch the full thing. She said much more diverse groups of Amazons here that we actually seen in any Wonder Woman stories. You know, in the DCEU, it's awesome. And so it's a consistent and really odd theme that, you know, Joss Whedon and Jeff Johns almost cut out all the characters of color in their cut. I mean, really weird. And all these actors did a wonderful job. You know, the Amazons who almost want to touch the mother box and activate. She was phenomenal. So it's showing like, it's like this cut not only just like, it started its own war almost with, you know, not only opening the eyes of, you know, people who see in WB of who they are, but Jeff Johns of who he is and Joss Whedon of who he is, who already had plenty of controversies back then because Ray Fisher was going at him. He was just attacking him like crazy.
Yeah, it's sad and sick at the same time. And I, you know, because Jeff, first of all, Zack Snyder was going to quit the project because Warner Bros. Told him to take Green Lantern out.
Right.
And he told him, he said he didn't want to take out nobody else of color in the movie, but they did it, you know, he was like, but the fans deserve a Justice League movie, so he bit on that one. That's why we have like the that older Green Lantern thing that we see in the Apocalypse War.
Right.
But he was going to have Jon Stewart in there. And just watching the cut, because once again, I've seen Black Nerd Comedy. I have seen a lot of other YouTubers and critics, actual movie critics, catch on to the fact that they took out a lot of folks of color. And it was kind of to the point where you watch it, you're like, man, that's very unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? It's very unfortunate, and it sucks that, you know, these people had a part, you know, they played the movie, and no matter how small or how big it was, it just, those little moments kind of made the movie better.
Right.
And that's another thing that bothers me to the point where when we move on to this universe, it's like, are we following or are we creating? Mm-hmm. Okay. And we just did a whole Falcon and Winter Soldier thing where I complimented how I enjoyed how they handle the social commentary in Falcon and Winter Soldier. I enjoyed that. But see, they are moving, it's like they're moving ahead because there's so much stuff going on in this world, you can't ignore it. You want to, but you can't. And it shouldn't be ignored. And right now, they're following a way to a point where I'm just like, it's like you're following a dated way. Marvel's evolving, and you're trying to recapture the magic that nobody really is on anymore. Because right now, there have been some movies, I'm talking to the point where the comedy has been annoying for Marvel sometimes. And it's not overpowering annoying. I'm just like, but I think when Infinity War and Endgame came, they got their act together, and they really gave us. Oh, I would say even Ragnarok, they really got their act together. Mm-hmm. I'm saying DC, you should do the same. You should do the same thing. You know, we live in a very diversity type of America, and that's the way it's going to be. You know, going in the future. Some people don't like that, but that's what it is. And just to cut them people out, it bothered me. I'm glad we got to see. I'm glad they got their part back in. Mm. But you know, it's very unfortunate.
Yeah, they also said the same thing about Cyborg. Like Cyborg had layers to him in this film. Despite of what I felt about him, like his acting, Ray Fisher's acting job with Cyborg, it was still bland to me, but it still made me care for who he is as a character because they added all those layers on him. And I think either Whedon or Jeff Johns, they said they don't want an angry black man as the heart of the film. When at the end of the day, Cyborg is the heart of the film. In a way, this is his origin story. So cut that out and cut out a giant piece of that.
Right.
To where we didn't even know who who Cyborg was in the first film. He was just like, yeah, I'm just here for the ride. Whereas in the second one, I'm not second one, where in this cut, he is developed to a whole new level. I love the part where you really go into his mind and you get to see him, like him in his sports jacket, just walking around. I thought that was great. You know, there were problems where he like helped the lady get money, and then the next scene he's like, "Man, fuck the people." It was like, well, okay, that's a little crazy, but it still brought personality to this character that wasn't shown in the Whedon cut. So, of course, unfortunately, they are under fire. Well, I wouldn't even say unfortunately. They should be under fire for what, like, this is, it's kind of crazy that they cut all this out. But, yeah, that's, I hope WB really gets, you know, let the directors do what they want. And at this point, like, we either need, like you said, a DC Studios or just films like, you know, directors need to start being like artists where they just become more independent.
Well, I'm just saying, well, I mean, they're doing that, but it's like, it's hard when people don't really realize how hard it is when you're dealing with superheroes. Because the fan base, well, fanatics of anything is fanatics, but there's a fan base out there. It's like, when it comes to Fast and Furious, you don't care how the movie turns out. If you're a Fast and Furious fan, you're going to watch Fast and Furious. Whether it's good or bad. If you're a Transformers fan, whether it's good or bad, you're going to watch Transformers. Say that you're a fan of Mission Impossible, right? You're going to watch all the Mission Impossible. If Tom Cruise said, I got 7, 8, 9 on deck, you can be like, let's go.
Yep.
It's easy to sell that kind of cinema because it's subjective. But when you're dealing with comic books and nerds and source material, you have two types of fans. You have the loyal comic book reading fans that like the source material, or you have the casual fans that just want to see a good superhero action movie that's relatable. So what do? You have to blend both worlds, and that's hard to do. Especially when you try to, and you can't blend a world and say, I want my movie to be this way. And then when you're trying to build up to a Justice League, to the point, and certain characters, like if they do Justice League 2, everybody's like, well, where's Shazam? You got to be able to explain that. If you're going to, you know, build up to Suicide Squad, people are going to want to know, what is it canon or what happened in the events of Birds of Prey? See what I'm saying?
Right.
So the director has an artist, they want to do their own way, but instead of people in suits who probably never even touched a comic book, never been in a comic book store, never been to a Comic Con, never understand the fan base and the heart and passion that goes into these projects, they need a Marvel Studios where they have people who read these comic books, people who have been in Comic Cons, who have been fans. You can tell the people as how they write the stories of who's a fan of the source material, who actually picked up a comic book and read it. You know what I'm saying? Be like, well, the payoff got to be this. They don't do that at Warner Bros. You can tell. I'm like, my God, what book did they read? All they know is they look at them like, these are superheroes. What do people like about superheroes? Well, let's see what Marvel's doing. They like this, give them that. That's all it is. And people are actually trying, I believe, Zack Snyder, people had their opinion, but I think Zack Snyder is very respectful to the source material. He shows he enjoys the source material by the way what he puts in his movies. I think Wonder Woman director
Patty Jenkins.
I think she enjoys the source material. Now, don't get me wrong. She stumbled on 84 because she felt as though that if we're doing Wonder Woman 84, we should be like the 80s. And I think you took some elements from the 80s that you shouldn't have. So it was disappointing. It was something new. She tried in the dark, but from the beginning, the first Wonder Woman movie, she had respect for that source material. And if you have somebody that has respect for the source material, who actually goes out and reads the comics, who actually go out there and does their research and not just doing something to be a suit to try to make money or try to make a cohesive story. It's kind of like when me and Q watch wrestling, right? A Hollywood writer, which Vince has back there, cannot write a wrestling storyline.
Nope.
It don't make sense. So then when somebody like Swag, when you go watch wrestling, you're like, God, these guys can't act, or this storyline sucks, because they're trying to write a movie for something that doesn't need that. Mm-hmm. That's not what wrestling is. You got to get somebody who is in the business, who respects the business, who understands how the business works, to write a decent storyline, because it's not that hard. All the old wrestling back in the day used to be 4 guys writing for all the shows. Today, in 2021, Vince has a team of 30 Hollywood writers.
Jeez.
30 Hollywood writers, and Raw sucks because they don't know how to write for wrestlers. So you can't get somebody out in Hollywood that's like, hey, I watched a superhero movie or two, and I know how to write action, stuff like that, to write a superhero movie. They don't know the source material. You have to, it's like a black, Tyler Perry can't write for a black woman. He tries and he fails at it. Mm-hmm. He don't know that experience. Saying that, men can't write for women, whether it's Hispanic, white, Native American. The representation matters in those kind of writing rooms. You can't write for a homosexual. You can't write for a transgender. Certain thing. You know why Falcon Winter has good social commentary is because they got people of color in the writing room. Mm-hmm. They understand how this stuff goes. That's why when you talk about Ghost of Tsushima, the movie's coming out, right. I'm like, it ain't gonna mean shit if they ain't got nobody back there to help write about the culture. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the biggest things I don't think Zack Snyder gets a lot of credit for. We was on this podcast last week arguing about that on the Snyder Cut. I'm like, yes, he understands the source material. He may do things different because he wants to change it up to be different from Marvel. And, some things work, some things don't. But I respect him for staying to source material. And you know what made me know that Zack Snyder knows the source material?
What?
Watchmen.
Yeah, Watchmen was page for page.
Page for page. I mean, he had to change it because he was like, well, that big alien thing would be kind of stupid in this movie, because at that time in 2009, everybody
was frowned upon on.
Yeah, everybody was on the high of the Dark Knight, so they was like, they want more realistic. So he changed the story up, but he respects the source material. That's all I'm saying.